Hey there, Leo. Welcome to your reading for the week of February 16th. You have this card. It says, expect a powerful change. You have this card. It says, believe in the impossible. Yes, Leo. I mean, obviously, we have this eclipse on the 17th that's happening in your opposite sign, Aquarius. And in the near future, near-ish future, we are going to have another eclipse in Leo. The next eclipse is actually in Virgo on March 3rd, but again, there will be a Leo eclipse in the future. And so I do feel that obviously when you have an eclipse like in your opposite sign or even in your sign, there could be a powerful change coming into your life. I also feel, I've been saying to you for months, that you need to believe in the impossible. I think all your readings, Leo, are about you exceeding your own expectations, right? You doing something that you feel like is hard, and not like hard in a bad way. Like we're talking hard as in it's going to be an accomplishment with the world card, or hard as in, it's going to be something that leads to a lot of success for you. So, I would really be thinking about that quite a bit. You start with your favorite card because you have the High Priestess, and, not the favorite because I'm a Pisces, and of course I am your favorite here, Leo, obviously as well. But what I would say is it's your favorite card because there's no roof over her head. And the whole point of the High Priestess is to exceed your own expectations, really. Yeah, sure, she can represent mysteries, not seeing things, or needing to dig into mysteries, needing to trust your intuition. But she also represents unlimited potential. As I've said to you before, I don't even think you've come close to reaching your potential. And, now is like the time where you could be being called to adventure, basically. You have the Chariot and the World. The Chariot and the World together is kind of like a call to adventure. It's basically like the universe is saying, Leo, you need to have a big victory right now, and you need to accomplish some greatness in your life. And maybe you're not going to believe that you can do it, but it doesn't matter. You're going to do it anyway. You have the Queen of Wands. You have the Queen and King of Wands. You also have a couple of love cards here. I've said to everyone, I think it makes perfect sense that everyone is getting love cards right now because this eclipse is conjunct Venus. So eclipses can already bring in like fated connections and things like that, but having it conjunct Venus, I think definitely can bring in some like new love connections, or can bring in something new as far as love is concerned. So sure, definitely could be divine counterparts with the King and Queen of Wands. Also great for charging towards something. You have the Chariot. The Queen of Wands charges towards the sun. She has this sunflower that she's holding on to here, and that sunflower points towards the sun, so she moves towards her joy, her happiness, her peace, and all this other stuff. And sorry, I moved my camera, so I just want to see how much room is above my head here, Leo, because it was like starting to creep way down. So anyway, it looks good. If I do say so myself here, Leo. Now I have the top of my head still intact, right? So anyway, yeah, I would just keep being bold here. You have the Eight of Cups, only card in the tarot with an eclipse on it right here. So yeah, I mean, this eclipse, especially an eclipse in Aquarius, wants us to create space for something better, or something that could be potentially better in our lives. And so every single person is being asked to walk away from something that no longer serves them, and is being asked to trust. Really, the Eight of Cups is about trust, because he doesn't know if he's going to find fulfillment or not, but he's just choosing not to settle. And, I think we're all kind of being asked to do that right now. With the High Priestess, you have the Six of Cups here. Yeah, a lot of you, I think, I'm pretty sure I've said this to you before, that, it feels like to me that you have certain, it's like not only desires, but certain like goals or things that you've wanted to accomplish maybe since you were a child, or maybe for many years. And it doesn't have to be from childhood, but it could be the past many years that you've been trying to accomplish something great in your life. And I think the Six of Cups is encouraging Leo to be more playful with life, but I also feel like it's more that your readings, I think what they really are trying to say to you, Leo, or what I'm trying to spit out here, obviously I'm doing a terrible job right now, is that it's like you need to stop putting your needs on the back burner. It's like you need to stop, doing things for other people. Really is what it boils down to. And it's like, I think that it's time for Leo to like start enjoying life. It's time for Leo to start, like doing things for themselves. I don't even get like traditional Six of Cups here. It's more like saying to me that there are things that you've always put other people or other situations in front of things that could bring you joy or happiness or whatever. And I feel this is saying it's time to stop doing that. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Hierophant. The Hierophant can be blessings. These two people are on a path. They are being initiated into whatever the Hierophant believes, his belief system. So I feel that you are being, initiated into something, like a path or, your purpose that you're going to be working on. And this could be like the universe is guiding you at this time, Leo. Also great for love. These two people are on a similar path. So it doesn't say you're attracting someone who's just like you, but it does say that you are attracting someone who's on a similar journey. You have the Two of Cups right next to it. So if you want love, Two of Cups is opposites. These two people are meant to look different. And so you could actually be attracting someone who is very different, but similar. It's like maybe the two of you are very different, but like the path that you're on is similar, or maybe the outcome of the path that you're on is similar. With the Eight of Cups, you have the King of Swords. King of Swords and the Hierophant is knowledge, and King of Swords, knowledge and wisdom. Hierophant is the teacher. These two cards together would encourage you to think outside the box. You're a cat. Cats love boxes, right? So I think that really the trick for Leo is to think more outside the box. This is going to become very, very important for you, Leo, come April. In April, we have Uranus entering into Gemini. So, everything inside the box is the same, right? Uranus and Gemini, we have to stick out like a sore thumb. And as I've been saying, that is my motto for Uranus and Gemini, is to stick out like a sore thumb. You're going to have people in your life who don't like it. You're going to have people in your life who have something to say about it. Your job is to say, well, to yourself, you don't have anything to prove to anyone. Your job is to say, like, well, this is in alignment with me. It doesn't have to be in alignment with these other people. And that's okay, right? And I think that's the knowledge or the wisdom that you need to explore. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this good news card. It says all forms of communication: text, emails, documents, phone calls, letters, notes, and voice messages. So good news. You have a success in love. It says romantic love, falling in love, new love, successful outcome in love, mutual love, intimacy, loyalty. Yeah, like I said, it's an amazing time for love with this eclipse. So every single person has had a ton of love in these readings. Even if you don't want love, and even if you do, it's also great to, fall in love with yourself. It's a great time to fall in love, create something from love, right? You could work on a project that you love. You could be working on your health from a position of love, right? Like all those things are going to be very good for you. So it's not just a person. Next, you have the King of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Page of Wands. Again, like I said, you could be attracting another fire sign. Could be any sign. Could be just a fiery person. This also could be you showing up in this reading. So, I think that with these two fire cards, you're kind of like showing up in a strong position. Whenever you show up as yourself, it puts you in a position of power and strength, which is good. The King of Wands probably wants you to take more risks. He has these salamanders on his cloak. Salamanders in the tarot represent protection from fire or protection from risk. So it kind of says you could probably be taking some bigger risks in all areas of your life. We're talking about calculated risk here. We're not talking about, jumping off a bridge with a parachute or something like that, right? We're talking about, putting yourself out there a little bit more, acting a little bit more confident, being willing to stick out like a sore thumb, no matter what people say, right? As long as it's in alignment with who you are, then things will be fine. You have the Two of Cups. Like I said, could be someone who's different. Could just be different than what you're used to. Usually, you have a lot of communication here, and this right here is the Staff of Hermes. The Staff of Hermes is communication, so a lot of you could be communicating with a person, or it could be starting with communication, which is usually a good thing with the Two of Wands. Also, what I would say is that the Two of Cups, I think I was saying the Two of Wands. Two of Cups can be you and your higher self. So it can be a great card for communicating with your higher self or communicating with people, kind of like in your dreams and things like that. And that's also popping into my head. Next, you have the Page of Wands. You have the Page of Wands, the Chariot in the World, so definitely very adventurous energy. This energy wants you to go on an adventure, get out into the world. The Page of Wands is really about following your bliss and following and moving towards things that make you feel optimistic. Queen of Wands is, of course, very similar as well. So I think anything you can do to, move towards things that bring you joy, enlightenment, happiness, having more fun, being more playful with that Six of Cups, all that would be very good. With the King of Wands, you have the Three of Swords. Everybody's had, almost everyone, I should say, has had the Three of Swords. Again, we have this eclipse. We have to, I think one great thing we can do with this Aquarius eclipse on the 17th is let go of an old story. So whatever that story is that you tell yourself over and over and over again, it could be about anything in your life, is probably what needs to be healed with the Three of Swords. And again, it is a good idea to heal those types of things with the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is about forgiveness and forgiving the past. We have to remove those swords from our own heart to heal. And so we don't have to forgive anyone or anything directly. We just have to, again, forgive those things in our heart. And that's what I would be doing with that card. With the Two of Cups, you have the Queen of Swords. A lot of clarity here. You could be getting clarity on a situation that is involving communication. Again, you have that good news card. The Two of Cups, this is the Staff of Hermes, which is Mercury, and which is communication. So even if the Two of Cups isn't love, it could just be clear communication that you're getting on something that you've been trying to do, probably, because we go up to the Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups is kind of like clouded judgment. He's looking at those Seven Cups, and he's, thinking of good things and bad things that could happen. If he makes a move towards something, or if he takes a risk, or if he talks to a person, or if he, tries to get approval for something, could be anything in your life. But the Queen of Swords she has clouds only halfway up her body, and so she's getting clarity for the first time. With the Page of Wands, you show up with the Strength card. The Strength card is about inner strength. She is taming her inner voice right here. This is her inner critic, that lion on the card. So it's about quieting that noise inside your brain, in your mind, that tells you you're not good enough, or you're not this, or you're not that. But she's the one ultimately that is in control. But I feel pretty good about this, Leo. I feel like you are taking control of your life, or, things that are going on in your life, and you are taking control of, what you are doing, which is probably a good thing with the Strength card. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Commit card and this Heal card. Yeah, I think you need to commit to healing the old story with the Three of Swords. So, this could be about just changing that story and telling yourself a new one. The Strength card would be about developing the strength to avoid it in the future. And again, this story could be anything. It could be everyone cheats on me. It could be I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. Those are the stories that I would be changing. It is also a great time to heal. We have an eclipse also on March 3rd in Virgo. And so that's part of the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle that we just started last year. And I think a lot of you could be focusing on healing. This eclipse is actually pretty good for healing in general, I would say. Even though this eclipse on the 17th isn't perfect because it's squaring Uranus, which is a little sketchy, I do think it is just a good eclipse. Like anything that you want to heal in your life, it is a great time to get to the bottom of those things that you want to heal. And it could be physical, it could be emotional, could be whatever. You have the Seven of Cups, the Chariot, and the Five of Pentacles. Seven of Cups is about being spoiled for choice. Again, I feel like maybe you have been a little bit confused on what to do in your life, or where to go, or what to work on, blah, blah, blah. But I actually feel pretty good about this card. I feel like you're seeing that you have a lot more options than you realize. And, I think that could make whatever you're about to try to accomplish a lot easier. If you're seeing that you have a lot more options, or if you're seeing that there are a lot more ways to accomplish things than you realize, that could be very helpful for you, Leo. So I feel pretty good about that. You have the Chariot. Chariot is like charging towards a victory or having a victory. He is also setting himself apart. So again, sticking out like a sore thumb. He's leaving the city behind him behind. I feel like it's a time for a change for Leo. I'm pretty sure I've said this to you before like a million times. The way that I would describe Leo energy right now is that it's like you're shifting something over. It's not like Leo is, completely cutting things out. I think a lot of other signs are, completely cutting things out of their life, right? For you, it's more like you're just shifting something. It's like you're bringing what you already have to a new environment, if that makes sense. And so, I don't think you have to quit or leave anything behind. I just feel it's more like he should have a U-Haul behind him with this chariot, right? Because he's still bringing all his stuff with him, his knowledge, his wisdom, the lessons he's learned, all that other stuff. But, at the same time, I think this is an environmental shift or change that's happening for Leo. And again, I think this is going to be a good thing for you because it's like an upgrade. The other way that I see this for Leo is it's like a rapper, it's like, I think the best, I think about this a lot, like on YouTube. Like if YouTube were to ban tarot for some reason, right? Like I've thought about this before. What would I do? And I have thought I could still do tarot secretly, right? And I could still do videos where I share all the same advice, but it just would have a different wrapper, right? It would just look differently. And, that's... Like, I think you should think about that, especially if you have, especially for those of you in business. But this could also be like your career or something else. But, where it's like you do the same thing, but you're just changing the identity, of that thing, whatever it is, And I don't know. I wish I knew what all of you were doing. Obviously, I don't know all of you. But, if I did, I could give you some more advice. But at the same time, again, I think you should just brainstorm on that. You have the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, I think this is what you need to heal, is like feeling like you're not good enough or not strong enough. Five of Pentacles has a very easy solution. The card itself says, do not call attention to your weaknesses. You need to focus on your strengths. You need to focus on what you're good at. So I think a lot of you should be more focused on your strengths instead of your weaknesses with the Five of Pentacles, and that will probably lead to a lot more success. With the Seven of Cups, you have the Two of Cups. Again, you could be getting, if you have been interested in a person or have been dealing with a person already, you could be getting a lot of clarity on that situation. You could also be seeing that something is a lot more possible than you think. So, again, it's like sometimes I think people get like super busy and they want love and they're like, oh, I can't have love, I'm too busy. But it's like maybe you're finding time. It's like I feel like here you're finding that something is possible, and it could be love, doesn't have to be. It could be that you're finding the time to work on something that you love as well. The other thing is, again, that this represents communicating with your higher self. We have your higher self angel right here on the Judgment card. The higher self angel on the Judgment card is trying to get these people to come out of their past life. The coffin is their past life. Outside the coffin is their new life. And so I would be paying attention to any like signs, symbols, synchronicities, messages, all that other stuff that you are receiving. With the Chariot, you have the Four Wands. Could be marriage. So if you're looking for love, definitely could be attracting a person that you could be committing to. Four Wands is also a card of freedom. You have to set yourself free. You have to cross this finish line here and go celebrate on the other side. So the Chariot wants us to complete a stage of our journey to get to the other side of something. And if we do that, we will find a lot more success. So that's what I would do with the Four Wands. With the Five of Pentacles, you have the Hangman. Yeah, new perspectives. Again, I say this all the time that I think the Hangman is going to come up like crazy for the next like 7 years with Uranus going into Gemini. This card represents Pisces, but it reminds me a lot of the Uranus and Gemini energy, which is all about looking at things from new perspectives or gaining new perspectives to become successful. And so, just learning about the things that you're working on or creating or doing in life could be very beneficial with the Hangman. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Raw card. It says creative power. You have the Sarcophagus. It says initiation, which is interesting because it kind of looks like a coffin. And we have all these coffins on the Judgment card. And you also have the Hierophant. The Hierophant is a card of initiation. He has these 3 stages on his crown here. And those 3 stages represent initiation, apprenticeship, and mastery. These 2 people are learning something from him to learn his belief system, which, could be anything that you're learning in life. And by learning it, you're creating a lot more success. So I feel pretty good about that. Again, you have the Judgment card, the World, and the Emperor. Judgment can be like a wake-up call, understanding your purpose. Again, it's a call to adventure, kind of, because this is your higher self angel calling you to step into a new world. And you have the World in this reading. So pretty simple, Leo. I think a lot of you are stepping into a new world. You have the World, which can represent an accomplishment or an achievement. Some of you could be like traveling or moving with the World and the Chariot showing up here mostly. The World can also say that you're bringing something to an end, especially with the Chariot and the Four Wands. You know, this could be like you crossing some sort of finish line or accomplishing something you've been trying to accomplish for a long time. So I really feel like you're being kind of like set free here with the World card. You have the Emperor. The Emperor is about taking control, taking the lead on something. You know, he has his armor on here underneath his cloak. And the armor on underneath his cloak kind of represents the fact that he's ready to go at a moment's notice. So if there are any opportunities for you to like get something you want this week, I would take them with the Emperor. You could also, of course, be attracting an Emperor if that's what you're into. With the Judgment card, you have the Four Swords. Yeah, this is about creating time to listen. Seven of Cups, Two of Cups, this, Judgment. You know, this is about creating the time to listen to your higher self. This could be meditation time, but, you know, that doesn't mean you have to, like, sit around with your legs crossed doing nothing. You know, I don't meditate like that. My meditation is walking every single day, so you can meditate however you want. I get a lot of answers in the shower as well, right? So it's like meditation can be different for all of us. And, you know, I would just make the time. He is hoping and praying for a blessing. And so, you know, you could be getting something you've been hoping and praying for a long time. With the World, you have the King of Wands. King of Wands is about being bold, being assertive, really going for what you want. You have the King of Wands twice. So, you know, I do feel like your readings have been saying this for a while, that if you want things to happen, you really have to be the one to make them happen. And, yeah, I know that's not like a good answer, Leo, but, you know, sometimes, you know, squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? And that's kind of like what's popping into my head with this King of Wands. The other thing about the King of Wands is he has the gift of foresight. We see a lot of intuitive energy here. You know, High Priestess, even the Two of Cups could be in the Four Swords, in the Judgment, communicating with your higher self. So it's like whatever you are seeing is probably true. You just have to, you know, make the move towards it. With the Emperor, you have the Four Cups. Four Cups is normally like the fear of disappointment. You know, he's not accepting this offer into his life because he's afraid that he will be disappointed like he has 3 times before. But he needs to accept this cup into his life and he won't be disappointed. And so I think it's time for you to like, you know, accept an offer or accept an opportunity that maybe has disappointed you in the past. You know, for some of you, it could be love. For others, it could be you building something again. We see a lot of like creative building energy here, Leo. And so all that would be good. You have this Door card. It says opportunities are waiting for you. Yes, definitely Emperor energy. He's just waiting for an opportunity. He's waiting to accept it. All you have to do is like knock on the door. Yeah, I think that's a good thing for you to focus on, Leo. You know, it's like, even if it's love, it's like, yeah, maybe you're going to have to get a person's attention, but I think this is saying all you have to do is knock. Like, you don't have to, you know, tell a person that you're in love with them, but I think a little bit of flirting would go a long way here. You have this box. It says you will be receiving a gift. Love it. Definitely could be like some sort of gift from the universe. Again, you have like the best reading this week, I would say, for sure. I have one more reading to do, so I'm not sure, but, you know, everybody's readings have been a little bit challenging, a lot of towers this week and stuff like that, which makes sense with this eclipse, but, you know, I don't know. Yours looks pretty good to me. You have this happiness card. Yeah, I definitely feel one of the best things Leo can focus on in life is like doing things to create more happiness, putting yourself in situations that make you happy and making sure that you're nurturing that happy energy into your life. You have this eye card. It says psychic ability, trust your intuition. Yes, Leo. I think for the past few years I've been telling you that. You know, I think Leo is like the #1 most underrated intuitive in the zodiac. So I think you need to trust your intuition more. I think you need to listen to your inner voice more. You know, trust that you know what to do and that you're being guided, and you will be. You have this camel. It says persevere and you will overcome problems. Yeah, don't give up on anything that you've been working on. Chariot. The Chariot, he kind of like blasts right through obstacles. It's like he is successful because he ignores obstacles. He just charges right through them, right? And I feel like that is like the type of perseverance that would benefit Leo the most maybe right now, is just like, it's like, yeah, there will be obstacles. Just ignore it. Go right through it. And that's what I would do if I were you. But this looks pretty good, Leo. I love this. So thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your week.